All right, mic check, good. So I'm Max Ceron, Max Ceron, CWB Association Welding Podcast. Today we have a really cool guest, Welding Podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the CWB Association podcast. My name is Max Ceron, and we are here on the floor at Fabtech 2022 in Toronto, Canada. This is the big mix of Fabtech Canada and CanWeld 2022, which is on behalf of the CWB. Fabtech is SME and all the million partners, Hypertherm being one of them. Today I got in front of me Kelsey Archambault. I did not butcher that. All right.
It was good.
Okay. And Kelsey is a distribution sales manager for Hypertherm. Welcome to the show, Kelsey.
Thank you for having me.
Good. So when did you get in? When did you get into the show?
Arrival, well, I had a canceled flight, so I flew in on the red eye 2 days ago. Arrived not yesterday, but the day before, 8 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
Ready to rock for the show.
So like, flying right now is brutal, right? And especially Pearson, like everything coming in out of this airport in Toronto is a disaster.
Good to know.
Yeah. So this is a hack. I want to hear a life hack
Yes,
about here.
please.
Hamilton is 45 minutes away. The airport is clean.
Oh,
And then you just, boom, 45 minutes. Like an Uber will take you to Toronto
okay.
for like $100. But I mean, it's sometimes worth the headache and not
Totally.
the canceled flights.
My gosh. Okay, that's good to know. I will do that in the future.
And if you're American, you can come into Buffalo. Buffalo's even closer.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
well, I'm not. So.
Okay, well, let's start there. Where are you from, Kelsey?
I grew up in Aldergrove, BC, actually.
Aldergrove,
Small
BC.
town, Aldergrove, BC. Yep. So just outside of Langley. I don't know if you know where any of these things
Yeah,
are.
I know BC really well.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And then obviously just outside of Vancouver for anybody who doesn't know what that is. So about 45 minutes outside of Vancouver in the country, and that is my hometown.
And is that where you live now? Where's your feet in the world now?
I live in Langley, but I have definitely traveled around before landing back in my home base area for sure.
Okay. And your role with Hypertherm being a distribution sales manager, does that mean that you have that area then? Like is BC your jam?
My territory is Western Canada, so
Okay.
I travel throughout Western Canada. Obviously, BC being my homeland, so that is definitely where I.
Well, I'm from
hit.
Regina, Saskatchewan.
Okay, so you're also in my territory.
I'm in your territory.
Can't wait to get out there. It's a beautiful spot.
I used to work at Sask Polytech in
Okay.
Regina at the college there. And I mean, obviously, like 99% of colleges have Hypertherm gear. That's,
As they should.
that's
yeah.
just kind of the way it works.
That's what we want to happen.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
great. Yes, I love it.
Well, it's kind of the brand that everyone's trying to bite in on.
It is the best in plasma cutting, that's
Right,
for sure.
because-
And not just because I work there, but that is the legit
and they've been
statement.
around a long time.
Totally.
They have the established, like footprint,
Of course.
right? And so for other companies to come in and step in, they really like push the game. And it's very interesting to see that play out from the outside, being like, whoa, who's the new players? Who's coming in?
Totally.
How's Hypertherm going to react? What's their next new cool thing, right?
Yes, we're definitely great on the engineering side of things, and we always are coming out with the new innovations and things to kind of be ahead of that.
So, your job at Hypertherm, how long have you been there?
Okay, I've only worked directly for Hypertherm for 2 months.
2 months. Okay, what did you do
Right.
before?
I worked for multicam CNC cutting equipment for 12
Okay.
years. So again, my territory was Western Canada, and I started with them selling Hypertherm consumables. So I have sold Hypertherm products through my previous company
Right.
for 12 years. So
And that means, street cred, that brings the street cred in, because people will sniff out no street cred in this
Totally.
industry in seconds, right?
100%. And because I've already been involved in the CNC cutting equipment side, mechanized cutting mainly, and with Hypertherm product line, I have sold everything that they offer. So it is definitely awesome to come. I've been trying to fight my way into this company for a very long time. So that paid off in the long run. My Hypertherm rep, I was constantly asking him when he would be retiring so I could steal his job. But in the long run, now he's my partner in the day-to-day. And we run Western Canada together. And I'm just super excited to be in the company directly.
Well, that's awesome. So,
Yeah.
this is a nice, elevated growth for you
Totally.
career-wise.
Oh, yeah.
How did you get into, the cam, that end of it? What's the connection between you and getting into this material industry?
Right. So I went to college for tourism and hospitality. Graduated, moved to Whistler, lived there for 5 years, worked in the hotels, did my thing, did event planning for all the VANOC, Olympics, all that stuff. And then traveled around. I lived in Belize for a bit. I lived in, I traveled throughout the States. And then I came back home to my homeland and applied for a job at Multicam for inside sales.
No idea what they were doing.
No idea. I knew kind of what a plasma cutter was because metal fab, like I knew a little bit about that, but definitely not super knowledgeable in that area. And then I started selling Hypertherm consumables and just dominated that for the company.
Yeah.
And then here I
you
am.
learned.
Yeah, exactly.
So can you walk up to pretty much any plasma setup and be like, click, let's go. I'm going to show you how this thing cuts a half-inch of stainless. Bam, here we go.
Totally, yes.
Yeah.
And then do a lot of optimization stuff, like especially on cutting tables, because I know a lot about the mechanical side of things of the cutting systems.
Right.
So not only on the plasma cutter, but actually like, motors, racks,
The
all the
servos, how
different
the gantries, all the
exactly
stuff.
how it runs on the actual mechanical side of things. So it's good for optimization for companies too, because I can kind of pick apart what they're doing and help them.
So in terms of your development then into this, you're coming in kind of a stranger, but obviously you got energy, you got, a passion to do well.
Yes.
I'm sure you would have been awesome at anything you chose.
Thank you.
But you're this learning curve. What was that learning curve like in the beginning? Did you feel like, because this is how the steel industry works for most people. You're like, wow, that's kind of cool. I'm going to look at it a little bit. And then it's like, oh my God, there's actually like so much, right? Like you don't even know.
Yes.
It can be overwhelming.
Totally.
How did you feel about
The
that?
company that I worked for previously, they sold all different cutting equipment. So routers, digital knife cutting systems, lasers, and plasma. I have always been driven to the plasma side of things, metal fabrication, because Hypertherm, basically, the product line was so good. I knew the support was there. I knew that there was a lot of engineering behind the products that they released. So you could really rely on the product that I was selling to the customer base. And then I learned a lot about other equipment, like routers. I didn't really know anything about CNC routers. And now I know pretty much everything about CNC routers. So I just kind of did a lot of my own, training. There was not really any, as you know, kind of starting a new role in big companies. There's not a huge, day-to-day training platform in my previous company.
Just jump in and get going and learn on the go.
Exactly. And that's what I did, right? Fake it till you make it, basically. And now I'm grateful that I did all of that, because now coming into this new company, obviously Hypertherm isn't new to me, but it is new, the Power Max side of things.
How they operate.
Yeah, totally. And Hypertherm actually does a lot on the training side. You do a lot of training. People are there really to support you, which is awesome. So there's a lot of, potential for more knowledge gaining and stuff like that. And then I just kind of bridge the gap and find out what I need to know about the different products that I'm going to sell to people, basically.
One of the topics that's come up throughout this conference since yesterday and today has been this idea of mentorship. Like, do we have a good mentorship process in the welding community, in the fabrication community? But sometimes we kind of forget about the support side, the sales and the equipment community. Do you feel like you had good mentors? Was there a good mentor, like a shout out to whoever that was?
Sure. Well, I got into this, the person who hired me, funny story, actually, when I got hired at Multicam, they had already previously hired for the position. They forgot to tell me that they hired someone.
So you
for the
showed up for work?
Showed up for the interview and literally, I was like, well, I'm here, so you're going to interview me. And he let go of the other person and hired me instead. So that was Sean Lawler. He works for Messer Cutting Systems. He definitely, gave me my shot into this and then let me grow on my own and just kind of like stood back and I, did my thing.
Grow.
Totally. And then obviously within Hypertherm, there are so many people to learn from. Vince Tucker is my partner now that we run Western Canada together, but he's the one who, came to me and told me to go for this position, and also who supported me through the years of learning about Hypertherm products, working for another company. And so he's a champion in my eyes too. So yeah, I'm just learning from everybody. And I know that as I develop more into this company, there is so much knowledge to be, absorbed from everybody else. So I'm just going for it.
So like now as you are in the job, you're fresh, you're 2 months, you're probably still being like, what's your name? Who are you?
100%. I'm so terrible at remembering names too. Oh my God. If I could just like write little notes on my hand for like who these people are.
You're only 2 months in, and they
Right.
send you out to Fabtech.
Yeah.
Like, you got the product catalog down already? Like,
I'm
you're pretty solid.
good at what we do already because I have sold the products
For
for
so
so
long,
long.
yeah.
So, I haven't come into any conversation that I feel uncomfortable doing, and I just, I'm all in, basically.
And what about the handshaking part? You had connections before, 12 years.
Yes.
You probably been to trade shows before.
I've been to Fabtech US. I've actually never been to Fabtech Canada.
Okay.
So I am Canadian. I've never been here before. But
I mean, it's a little bit smaller than Fabtech US.
Totally.
A little.
Yes. I always like going to the US cities that we get into
Are you
through
gonna
this
Are you going to
role.
be in Atlanta?
I'm going to do my best to fight my way there too. And I would like to go to.
Well, I already got my invite. I think we're booking hotels next week for Atlanta.
Good.
So
I love it. Yeah. So I will be, in my first year with the company, I do like to get out to as many places as I can. Basically to meet all the people, right? Get my face in front of everybody and like get the opportunity to sit down with any people that I can learn from and that kind of
and that's
thing.
kind of
So I love
that's
that.
what I was thinking with the question. I was like, okay, so you worked in the company, you know the trade shows, you know the gimmick, you know people.
Totally.
So when you jumped to Hypertherm, did you bring people with you? Like, did people follow you? Because I've always kind of wondered how that works.
Hypertherm is like a hot commodity and a very
Yeah.
difficult company to get into. Well, not difficult, but like if you're the right person, you obviously, get in. But
I wonder if they
there was-
hire me.
right? Would you like to? I will see what I
What
can do.
What's the pay like?
Yeah, right. I know.
And
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a great company to work for. So it's hard to get in, right? And so it, takes knowledge and takes, I guess, quality people to be here. No one has come with me yet. But
No.
who knows?
Do you
what will
haven't been like,
happen.
and I don't, is there like a code of ethics? Like, this is me complete ignorance,
Yes,
right?
like stealing people from other
Yeah,
companies.
are you allowed to poach from what you have?
Honestly, I think that's kind of like what you do nowadays to get good people because it's so hard to find good
Because it's like a family
people.
doctor, right? Like,
Yeah.
your family doctor.
Like your
you-
mom must be in there to get there, and then
That's
your
right.
cousin and your dad and everybody. Yeah, totally. But yes, Hypertherm similar. I'm sure. Once you're kind of in, it's easier to get people in. But I don't care about anybody else. It's just about me here
Yeah.
today. No, but in the company, like I haven't had anybody else come, and I would hate to kind of steal people from my past company or anybody else.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if there was the right person for the right fit, yeah, absolutely, that
Yeah.
would be a thing.
Now, in terms of the territory, like Western Canada is huge.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Like, that's a lot of space to cover, and it's spread out.
Right.
So, like, there's large centers. In your 2 months, where's most of your business been between the three provinces? I'm just asking in case Saskatchewan's at the top. Probably not, but I
Okay,
hope
so Saskatchewan, I need to go to actually. Well, probably when I said I've been traveling, I've been home maybe a week since I started. So I have been on the road and I have been all over the place throughout. Mainly, I've been traveling farther. Like I'm here today. This is
Yeah.
obviously not my territory. I'm here for the week. I spent a week at Hypertherm, so that's in New Hampshire. So I've been kind of on the road all over. I went to Alberta, did Calgary, a couple open houses there with Air Liquide, and then I go home for 4 days, and then I do the Okanagan and through that next week, and then I go to Saskatchewan. So I'm, we're flying around, we're doing all
You're
over
doing
the
the thing you
place.
gotta do, yeah.
Yep. And I love to travel, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's my gig too.
Totally.
Like, you can't do this type of work without
No.
traveling.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a big conversation last night. They're like, how much do you travel? I'm like, about 100 days a year. And they're like, that's lots. And like, that's less than my last job.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, that doesn't even sound that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at, like I expect to be kind of away, like 70% of the time, at least for the few years. And then once you establish your territory and you establish your customer base, like you can manage a little bit more from home. But I don't mind being away.
Yeah. And then like, now you're thinking, like, you're already thinking 2-3 years out. Like, you've mentioned that a couple times.
Oh
So,
yeah, I'm never going anywhere. I will.
Yeah.
I've made a couple jokes to the other people in our company. I'm like, it's so nice that we're just gonna like die together, because like, and I don't mean that in like it's gonna be
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
But I mean we're gonna be here till we retire, and
No
this
one
is like
call 911.
right. We're fine. We're all right. A little hungover, maybe a few of the people today, but other
Did you
than
go to
that,
the party yesterday?
I did come to your
Good.
party
Oh, good.
yesterday.
It was such a good party.
It was a great party.
Yeah, although the drinks were a little slow in the beginning, but then it worked out.
You know what? Our server was hustling. She was
Yeah.
doing her thing. Didn't smile a whole lot until we tipped her, and then she was right on it.
Well, they
I
were working
appreciate
once it
that.
leveled out.
Oh, gosh.
I went and talked to each of the waitresses, and I was
Right.
like, "Thank you for
They
your
were
work
great.
tonight." And I was like,
100%.
"You guys, we showed up. We slammed them.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
we slammed.
Oh yeah,
them.
those blue drinks. I mean, yikes. But
Yeah.
it's been a good trip. But yes, there's a lot of travel, and I love that. So I'm all for
Now,
it.
what do you see in your future? What's the crystal ball do? Like, you're in the company now, so like you wanted to get in, and you know Hypertherm has a lot of room for movement.
Oh, yeah.
So like I'm sure you've eyed that org chart and been like,
Honestly, I'm not there yet to even think about that.
You're new.
My brain is like, okay, so what is my actual job? What is my day
Okay,
to
so I'm going to
day
Toronto.
life?
What do you want me to
Totally.
do?
This actually, I'm like, okay, well, set me up at the booth. I'll chat with people all day long. Like that's easy peasy for me. Like not a big deal. But yeah, I haven't even thought about the idea of changing into a different role, but at some point I'm sure, I'll steal.
Now, how much does your education in the travel industry help you now? Because I'm a firm believer that all education comes in handy at 100%. Some point.
Well, being in hospitality and, I did event planning and stuff in Whistler. So, on person to person, sales is all relationship building. So, I can bullshit with someone about, the weather, their family, this machine, that over there. Like, it's so easy to kind of just get along with everyone, start a conversation about anything. Yeah, totally. Like, it's very exciting to talk about our new equipment and this part and that part, but also tell me about like your children and like, where were you last week? What was your favorite vacation? Like, let's get into some more personal conversation. So hospitality is a lot about that, like, relating to people and also not taking anything personally. Like I've been yelled at because it rained today and also because their machine is broken and I don't go home at night and cry myself to sleep. Like I just find a solution and I fix it and I make people happy.
And if it's 5 p.m., then this is tomorrow's problem. Like,
you know what? I wish I worked that way because I actually will not do that.
I was waiting to see what you said.
No,
I don't do that at all.
I will climb through your machine to fix the problem before I am leaving. I don't care what time of day it is. So hospitality really came hand in hand. I think it really helped me just grow as like a person and like be able to kind of take from whatever comes your way. And that's honestly what sales is too.
Now, do you want to go back and get more education on something? Like I know Hypertherm's got a lot of training. You're going to be trained probably for like the next year.
Oh my God. I think we have to do like so many hours of training a year for the rest of my time with them. So it's a lot of training, but good stuff, right? I'd like to actually learn to weld. So I don't actually physically know how to.
Welding is the best.
Okay. So I did it I was at not a trade show, a couple open houses 2 weeks ago in Alberta. And the booth beside me was Fornia. So like the welding booth. And the guy who used to work at Hypertherm that I know well, he now works there. So me and him were doing some welding together. And I was just like, well, let me take this opportunity to, do this. So I was doing some welding and then we can, gouge it off with our cutting system. So
the plasma gouger.
The plasma, you can gouge with the Power Max system.
What's it called?
That's flush cut, where it's flat on that. Yeah.
That thing's wild.
Crazy,
it actually kind of bends physics in my head. Like,
I know.
Because you're doing this, but it's going there.
Right.
Like,
so the consumable is actually has a slanted piece that you lay flat on the material and you can cut right on that edge.
I didn't believe it worked until I actually had them come out and show me. And I was
it's
like,
fantastic.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hypertherm does some awesome stuff. So we do, obviously gouging. So I need to do the reverse of learning all the cutting. I would like to go and do a welding course. So I'll probably look into that. I'm going to guess next year.
But welding is the best. I'm just saying.
Is that your thing?
I started as a welder.
Oh, okay.
So all the way back when I was a kid, but it's all I've ever done. It's how I got here somehow. So.
Right. I know. Well, this is great. I mean, podcast is fun. You're not like on the tools anymore. So.
No, well, at home I am. I still got you got your space, right?
Of course.
Yep.
You need a plasma cutter. I know a great company that offers that.
Really?
Yes.
Like how good of a deal are we talking?
We don't even need to discount because our product is so good. But we could probably work out.
Oh, there's the pitch.
Yeah. But it's obviously. If you need to cut anything, you know where to go.
I just use zip discs for by the dozens.
Disgusting. How dare you? But yeah.
So you got a partner. You said you got a team that you work Western Canada with, right? Mm-hmm. How do you guys divvy up that work between you?
So the person that I actually took the position from, he left the company and I took over his position. His territory was northern Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. And then the other gentleman that ran the territory with him was Alberta and I guess southern Alberta and BC. So when I got the job, obviously logistically it makes sense for me to work in BC. But Vince and I still work, very hand in hand with, across the whole Western Canada. But I think on paper it's probably like BC me.
Do you guys divvy up the product? Are you guys like, you're the pro at this and I'm the pro at that, or do you guys have to be equal?
Yeah, well, Power Max systems, like handheld systems, are a little bit different than a mechanized system. So, the big cutting table system, so XPR, HPR, that is generally a separate, people look at that separately. And then Power Max systems, more handheld systems. You can put them on cutting tables also, but it's a more, you cut thinner stuff, basically.
Yeah, I've actually even seen like systems online, like cheap knockoffs, that'll be like, will fit Hypertherm equipment, right? Just so like, you can just snap it in. No, you know what? I think it's still more product for you to sell. Like, 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone's going to move on the price point they want for their own reasons.
Most of the time people get into a cutting system or, table or machine at the price point they're ready to spend at the time and what they think it's worth to them. You test that machine out, you run that for a bit, you realize
realize
that the capabilities are a little bit more limiting than you thought. Or your company grows. Yeah, exactly. You want to do more stuff. You want to be able to have the higher capability. So then what's worth spending a bit more money on,
So your booth here, how many people you got working at the Hypertherm?
There is a lot of people over there.
I saw, like you guys come like ready, like your own circus.
There is like a huge amount of people. Yeah, we all kind of said the same thing yesterday. So there's quite a bit of us, maybe 10 or so people.
Wow.
But lots of people aren't working the booth too, right? Like a couple of the big bosses are here that aren't obviously going to be like in the booth.
Your big bosses isn't working in the booth?
Well, my big boss actually is not here. He is in Arizona. That is where he is based out of. So he didn't come to the show because I think he's going somewhere next week.
Who's your big boss?
Jeff Purinton.
Okay.
He is in Arizona, but
So do you hear that? Her big boss doesn't have to work the booth.
Well,
what's going on here?
What's going on here? But maybe it's because of his travel schedule. I'm not really sure. But there's a couple. His counterpart who works the eastern side. So my boss is obviously on the western side. So this isn't really his baby. So the eastern side boss is here. So he is Brent.
So in your BC local area, is there quite a bit of industry for you to service even in your local area without getting like into extended BC?
Yeah. There's lots of our local customers, and then up into like the interior and stuff, Prince George, like all that kind of area too. And throughout the Okanagan, all gas suppliers are our distributors. So people who sell Hypertherm doesn't sell direct to anybody. So like I personally don't go and sell cutting systems to anybody. I support
you match them with their local distributor.
Yeah, they're distributors, and I support them in their sales. I'll go with them. I'll do demos. I'll train. I'll do whatever they need me to do. Support their sale. And then I get to be like the unbiased person, which is nice. Obviously, I'm biased to Hypertherm, but I mean,
I was like kind of
no. Hypertherm's obviously where I'm at, but in the cutting system side, like my previous company was, they built the cutting table. So I, repped them. And now I get to work just as the Hypertherm power supply, which is on a variety of cutting systems. So I can kind of learn a little bit more about the different cutting tables that people offer, options, that kind of thing, and be unbiased.
Have you gotten to meet some of the cool influencers that
Not yet,
Hypertherm
2 months
in,
right?
Yeah.
But Ray Ripple is obviously on the list. Must check her out.
She's rad.
Yes. I will
rad.
have to get to know her. Me and Anne have talked about her.
Is she going to be in Atlanta? I should reach out to her, see if we can get her for another podcast.
I hope so, because that's going to be a reason that I'll force my way in there. Must meet Ray, But I look forward to kind of connecting with all these people that we,
help support.
Yeah, totally.
It's like, I mean, we've gotten into the influencer game. It's a smart deal.
Oh yeah.
Because they support you. They have access to clientele that you may not normally have had access to, and it opens up those doors.
Totally.
Now for Hypertherm, you guys don't really need that, to be honest. Like, you guys are...
We're the best.
No, but I like that that Hypertherm as a company still takes time to do that. When you said that your company forces you guys... Well, I should say forces. like, wants you guys to do training every year.
Sure.
I believe in that.
Oh, 100%. Me too, me too.
So, like, I get my staff to do... I want them to take at least 2 classes a year. Like, we want to keep the professional development going. And at the end of the year, like, I actually am like kind of cheesed if it didn't happen. It's like, we were too busy. It's like...
would be too.
Yeah, it's like, I want... It's not like this is as important as the work you're doing.
100%.
Like, you need to set the time up.
Totally. I like that too. I think it actually it shows that the company cares about like your personal growth too, right? Like, they want you to learn, they want you to keep learning, they want you to grow while you're in the company. You get stagnant in a place, then what? You're bored. Then you're looking around. Yeah. And I'm a super loyal person, so I've never I never went looking for this job. Like, I wouldn't have left my company probably ever if Hypertherm didn't come to me. So Hypertherm was the the dream of me to end up here. And like I said, I've been bugging my like partner guy forever. Like, when are you retiring? Give me your job. Like, what's going on with you? So now I'll just be there beside him, waiting for him to.
So then how does that succession plan go? Like, I mean, he will, I'd imagine, still retire at some point. He sounds like he's close.
Maybe. No, he's not close at all. I've just been hoping for it.
So
he's not close. He'll be
like,
here for a long
rip.
time. Yeah.
So, when he goes, would it be like they hire a new one of him and you got to then train the new
maybe
Eastern West guy?
Yeah, I don't know what'll happen.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what all goes down. Maybe by that point I'll have my new me there to work with me too and
you'll
do the
be
same
sitting
thing
on
that
the top
he did
of
with
the
me.
tower being
Right,
like, oh,
right. But yeah, no, he's supported me, and I know he will continue to support me, and we'll work. I'll grow a lot with him and stuff. And he's a very technical, knowledgeable person, which is awesome because I like that kind of thing too, right? Like, I don't want to just be surface value. Like, sure, buy my stuff, it's so great, ha ha ha. But like, I want to know everything about the insides and outsides of it, and he's a very knowledgeable person in that regard. So, and I don't know where I'll grow in here, or who will be the new me one day. I don't know.
Every day's a new you.
Right, I guess.
Right? That should be on a candle somewhere.
Right? It probably is, honestly. It's probably
God damn
on there.
it.
Yeah.
Not
You
original
lost
at
that
all.
one.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Hallmark. So the booth you got, guys, you got 10 people over there. You got lots of gear.
Totally.
You guys are showing off. How does it feel to be back in conference world? Like, I know you did conferences before with the other company. Now you're here with them. How does this feel after like the 2.5-year break we took?
So great to see people in real life. I'm really a fan of like a handshake and like getting to like look people in the face and like talk to them directly and see people, and even just the like camaraderie of the evenings, right? The dinner, the beer party after, like us being able to sit around and have some drinks and like bond a little bit. For me, it's great in my company because I get to see a bunch of people,
and
meet
get to
a bunch
know
of
them
people.
well.
Totally.
Yeah.
So then when I need something back in my little bubble of Canada, I can actually know the people to go to and have a personal connection with them. And then being able to see our customers and actually, wander around a show and see what other people have released in this last few years. And, it's been a minute. So it's definitely nice to get back out there. And I love a trade show travel. So, we get to go out and do all the things.
And do you get tired? Do you get tired of the parties? Do you get tired of the road food? Like, for me, the food is one of the things I dislike the most about travel.
It's hard to eat healthy,
well, yeah.
100%.
And I like to eat well.
Same.
I run fast and hot, so I go through food really quick.
Totally,
right?
totally.
So if I eat I feel like really quickly.
Same.
Like, it doesn't take long.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll be like, I need a salad, like stat.
Right.
Like,
I had a salad in here yesterday, actually.
Well, for lunch, I'm going to be eating like all fruit and vegetables.
Right.
I got to do a bit of a flush today.
I know. It's rough. And like everyone's walking around with these like burgers and like fried food. I'm like, get out of here. Like, no. And then there's gin everywhere. I'm like, yay.
Yeah, you're a gin drinker?
Yes.
I'm a gin drinker.
Gin is
Yesterday,
my
they were
go.
talking about it last night. I ordered a gin. They're like, you're a gin drinker? I was like, yeah.
It's the
like,
best.
very, very few people are gin drinkers. I'm like, no.
It's the greatest.
I know lots of people that
So
drink
me and you,
gin.
obviously.
Yeah.
It's us, and I will support the gin market. But no, it's nice to get out and to, venture around and, just great to be away, basically. And then when I go home after a week of talking, because that's all this is, you're literally, you're either talking to people in your company, outside your company. Here I am talking right now. I obviously talk fast and loud, and I do all of this all day long. So when I go home, I don't talk at all.
Yeah,
Literally. Like, my boyfriend would be like, oh, like, how was it? Good. How was your day? Great. Like, what do you want for dinner? I don't know. Like,
Itchy ban.
Honestly, legit chicken flavor, the green pack, the best one.
Funny story. My staff, she's from Toronto. Apparently in Toronto, they don't have itchy ban.
What?
Because I was like, I'm going to have itchy ban for
No.
lunch. She's like, what's that? I was like, excuse
Itchy?
me? How do you know? I sent her a picture of the package. She's like, I've never seen that
Oh my
before. I was
God.
like, what?
My house is like stocked with it. It's like really the only thing my boyfriend eats like when I'm away. He's
Well,
like,
I
I'll
get
make
like the
this.
spicy Korean ones in the red package.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
so good.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I'm into it. I like an itchy. It's an easy dinner.
So, for the people listening to the show, you're a young woman who's doing great. You upwardly mobile. You're looking at things. You obviously got a great attitude. What's kind of like the advice you'd say? Young people listening to the show being like, I'm thinking about getting into sales, or maybe I'm working in sales right now, but it's not really my shtick. Maybe it's in the service industry. Maybe it's wherever.
Totally.
What about the steel industry? Can I get into the sales game in the steel industry? What kind of
Yes.
advice could you have for them?
It's all about relationship building. That's basically what I said before, but that's basically what sales is. Like, you don't have to know a ton about the product that you're going to sell. I didn't know anything about plasma consumables when I started selling plasma consumables. And I grew it from, 20 grand a month to 100 grand a month in a very short amount of time. So I hustled those. I really didn't know a whole lot about them. So don't be scared if you don't know everything about the product that you're going to be working with or potential products. Just go in there with an open mind and ready to learn and ready to hustle. Don't be lazy.
That's key.
Don't be lazy and enjoy all the good that comes with sales.
Take the perks.
Totally. There's a lot. Like, I've got to see a lot of cool places. I've been to a lot of fun things. And I'm grateful for all that. And it's really just because I sell some plasma stuff.
And what about for, like, if we look at, like, specifically a young female, or like young woman?
Yeah.
Like, what are maybe some of the obstacles or barriers that she may encounter that you can give her, like, a heads up on?
Totally. So, like, when I first started this, so 12 years ago, I was younger, obviously.
Wait a second.
I was younger, 12 years younger. But there were certain customers who didn't want to have a conversation with me because I'm a girl.
What would you know?
And yeah, exactly. Like, stupid girl, like, get out of here. So knowing your, obviously, like I said before, you don't have to know your product, but in those regards, you do need to know enough to be, hold your own in a conversation.
The street cred part.
Yeah, totally. Like, I'll walk into a shop and, like, I'll be with a few guys from the team, and, the people that we're meeting with will shake the hands of all the guys and look them in the eye and be very, like, engaged. And with me, it's like flippant, like, oh yeah, Kelsey, whatever. Until I get in front of their machine and I can pick everything apart. I can suggest different optimizations. I can, suggest different things that they're doing, ways to help them save money, ways to improve their business, their flow. And then they're like, oh, by the end of that conversation, I'm getting all the eye contact. They've said my name 10 times. Like, they, once you show that you know what's up, then, they're.
It is kind of like, I almost said a bad word. Yeah,
but then there's the other side of it where, you kind of got to be able to take some too. Like, in the, guys are going to make funny comments.
And everyone's going to
flirt with you a little bit.
Right?
Like, you're going to get kind of that side of it too. So if you are, you get offended easily by inappropriate jokes. You
might struggle.
You might struggle in a man's industry, in a man's product line. I'm not going to say it's inappropriate, but at times, I am not the kind of person to take that personally, or I'm not the kind of person to stress about that. So it works for me. Like, but it doesn't bug me.
Ideal state, hopefully. It's done.
Sure.
We're away from that.
I don't even mean like it's inappropriate to me. I just mean like they're going to say funny jokes about dirty things or whatever. If you don't like that sort of thing, go sell flowers or something. I
bet there's lots of inappropriate jokes in the flower industry.
Oh, sure, there might be. Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true. Maybe. But, you got to pick your right product and you got to do what works for you and what makes you happy. So, my advice is don't have some thick skin and hustle.
Yeah, and I would add to that the thick skin is useful for a variety of things.
100%.
Because you can try to change the thing someone doesn't like.
Totally.
They'll just find something else.
For sure.
They'll just find something else.
For sure.
You just gotta do you and be confident. Like, if you're not confident, that's one thing. People
they will suss that out right away.
Yeah, right away. And it's like they just know
100%.
if you are not 100% sure.
Yes.
And it's okay to be not 100% sure, but you got to be honest about it. Be like, hey, you may have asked me a question. I'm not sure.
That's
I need to
exactly
come back and give you that.
Don't give a answer. Just be, yes, it's very easy. I do it too. Like, there's things I don't know or things that people will ask me for whatever information. And I'm like, okay, yep, I'll go find that for you and I'll give it back to you. As long as you're open and you communicate that, communication is number one. If you ignore people, if you don't answer people, if that kind of thing. So you don't know the answer, you say that, you go find the answer, you give it to them, and then they're like, oh, thank you so much, you're the greatest. Like,
they're like, I forgot I asked that question.
Oh, yeah, that happens. Totally.
No, we've been going hard. We're almost done here. So for, that going forward, like in the short-term future, what's on the agenda? What are you planning on doing? What are you doing with work? Let's see what the next couple months look like.
I'm going to travel across my territory. So I have to, do some scheduling actually this week and figure out when I'm going to your homeland and, set up all my different stops throughout Western Canada.
You guys roll with gear, like in a vehicle, and do the whole thing?
I load my truck with different plasma cutters. I show up there and cut metal, and people are like, ooh, and then we go on to the next one. So it's definitely like kind of a road show of open houses. So that's what I'll be doing over the next few months. And then it's summertime, so I'll probably like to take a weekend away here and there.
You're gonna do some camping.
Yeah,
Are you a wilderness person?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm from the
not
outdoor
everyone
land.
in BC is into it.
That's true.
Right?
I'm not a Vancouver girl. I am from the country. I actually just bought a box tent for the box of my pickup truck, so I can camp
didn't you
along
want
the
one
way.
of those for your Toyota?
It fits right in. I have an F-150, but it fits right into the box of my truck. Put a little mattress in there, and I have plasma cutters in my back seat, so I can pop a tent out back and then hop
And if
out
it
in the
gets
morning
cold.
and go. Yeah. If anyone threatens me, I can burn them or something. Yeah.
Although
Yeah,
it's not
quick
good for
shot.
the tungsten to fire it in the air, right?
No inappropriate starts. But with our new sync consumables, you can get 1,600 starts out of a cartridge. So you can definitely fire
We'll
more
have
than
to
you
beep
could.
that gratuitous promotion out. No, just kidding.
No, but yes, I definitely love to be outdoors, and I'll do a few things throughout the. We're going actually to Invermere, which I've never been to before. Have you ever been there?
No.
Didn't even know it existed.
I feel like I've driven through. Like I heard, it's not.
Yeah,
it's on a major highway, right?
It's almost like at the border of Alberta and BC.
Okay.
So up at like Radium Hot Springs.
Okay, yeah, I've been to
so we're
Radium,
doing-
yeah.
okay. So we're doing 4 days up there in July and gonna do some golfing and
Oh,
some
you a
sun
golfer?
tanning. I golf for the good time.
Yeah, but you like to golf.
But I
though?
like
Yeah.
to golf, and I actually was talking to the guys last night that I need to take some golf lessons because I think I need to be better.
It helps.
100%. So
And golf clubs,
I have golf clubs.
good ones. Good enough?
They're
New?
clubs. They're new-ish
New-ish, yeah,
because
better.
the amount that I golf, they are
Yeah, any hand-me-downs
shiny.
generally just toss them.
right. So I have them, and I need to learn to golf better because I think that my future with Hypertherm, there will be golfing involved.
So Stephanie Hoffman is here,
Okay.
right? And she loves to golf like hardcore.
Oh, good.
Like
Okay.
hardcore.
Okay.
When I got here on Sunday, there was a PGA event happening
Right.
here in Toronto, the Canadian
I know
Open.
This. I know this.
And
I know
the golfers were all staying at our hotel.
No.
Yeah. So I
Are
got
you
in.
staying at the Delta?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah. So they were all
What?
there. And I went for breakfast that morning.
So like Rory was like sitting at the Delta?
Their last day
Stop
was
it.
my first day, and I went for breakfast, and it was all PGA dudes, like all
No.
like right to Doge.
What?
And I don't know golf. I like to golf. I don't know the sport, right?
Right.
So I was like, I know these people are golfers. They're all wearing expensive things and like
Right.
Rolexes and
Oh,
stuff. So these are
fancy.
real
legit.
golfers.
Yes.
And but I didn't know. So then Stephanie came in the next day, and I told her about this. She's like, I would have come in early. Like I would have flown in a day early, and I would have hunted
Why
people
didn't
down.
I do that?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is my opportunity. Hey.
I had no idea, so I feel like I missed an opportunity
Oh,
there.
my
Maybe get some
goodness.
autographs or something.
Right.
But they might still be floating around because the dartsers are still in the hotel.
darts. I love that
Oh
too.
man, they
hey?
party like crazy. They're so fun.
Big smokers. They're
Yeah,
all out there like
outside
up
every-
smokes. I love it. Because darts, like who wouldn't? You're in
Yeah,
a
well,
bar
what
all
did the one
time.
guy? It's the only pro sport you can smoke at. It's like,
Right, 100%. Good point. That guy
Okay.
knows what's up. Yeah,
and it is a pro sport. There's big money on the line this week.
Is it?
Yeah, like big money. This is like one of the bigger tournaments of the year for them, and they have like the best of the best from across the country here, and they're turning all week, and it's for big cash prize.
The guy I saw yesterday at the gift shop, actually last night, I was getting chips before bed, and
That's good for you.
right? Health. That's me.
Potato,
Right? Exactly. Vegetable.
and you need salt for your
Right.
electrolytes.
Exactly.
Right.
See, I prepared.
Win.
And I seen him at the gift shop there, and I was like, oh, I love darts, just so you know, and I wish you all the best in your tournament today, or tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it's been a really expensive trip so far. I'm like,
Yeah, there a lot
What
of
have
them
you
are
been
not
doing?
used to just Toronto though.
Okay.
Right, a lot of them are from like there's a lot of East Coast people here, like from
Sure.
the Maritimes.
Sure.
And then from the West, like there's like BC. I mean, BC will be fine with the
They
cost. They
know,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I was watching the news this morning. They're like, "Oh, gas has gone down 5 cents. We're now at 2.08." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, BC's been at 2.35 like for months."
Yeah, in
That's
Saskatchewan, we're
horrible.
so spoiled. We're like barely hitting $2.
Really?
Yeah. But
Crazy.
it's just because Saskatchewan's awesome.
Yes, well, exactly.
Just the way it
obviously.
works.
So do you live there still?
Yeah, I live in Regina.
So you go
full-time.
back? Okay.
Yeah, I just fly
You just
around
go
like a
all
trained
over.
monkey. Yeah, this is my thing.
okay,
Yeah.
love it. Cool.
And they've asked me many times if I'm willing to move to Ontario. Actually, like yesterday,
Oh.
someone was like, "Are you gonna move into Ontario where all the senior managers are?" It's like, Nope. I have zero desire.
It's nice to kind of be on the like
That's
remote
right.
side of
I
things.
can go to my nice little house in Regina and my little
Totally.
community where
Yeah.
I know everybody and got my favorite restaurants and people and
Your
like,
people.
Yeah, you're right.
Your thing.
And my daughter's moving away to Alberta right now. She finished university, so she's moving away. So now that makes me kind of like sad.
Alberta, where is she going?
Grand Prairie, up north, like way northern life.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's a music teacher.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so she's moving up there, and it's good. She needs to spread her wings. She needs the space. She wants to do it. And she's just like me. She's gonna be a Rolling Rock.
Oh,
Awesome,
that's
right?
awesome. Yeah. I'm. My dad was also traveling sales. Like he traveled like majority of my life, so he always laughs because I'm like doing exactly what I never ever thought I would do.
Well, and you're comfortable,
this,
right? Because that's actually a conversation I have with people about kids. 'Cause
Yeah.
You don't want to be like, kid talks are weird because it's like you're always like bragging, but then realistically everyone's kids are kind of screwed up. And you only talk about the good stuff,
kids
right?
are the greatest one. Yeah, totally.
But I was like, when my kids were little, we would travel all the time. Like since they were like born,
Same.
I was rolling, and I'd bring them with me if I could.
Yeah.
They'd come with me, and so my kids have been like all over the world, and like they've done like we've camped in the middle of nowhere, we've stayed in fancy hotels, the whole spiel, right?
Exactly.
Now that they're getting older, they're so comfortable. Like they'll come to my house, be like, "Hey, can we take the kit? We have kits, camping kits. So like, there's like simple, medium,
the tote
and
that you just like take out of
and
your
it's ready to
garage
rock.
and put in that 100%. Me too.
So like, my daughter will be like, "Can I come grab one of the kits?" It's like, "Yeah, where are you going?" "Oh, I'm going up north for 5 days." "Okay, cool, have fun." And boom. And then I find out that she like went alone. Like she just went and wanted to like disappear and go camping.
Good
and I'm like,
girl.
awesome. That's
Yes,
rad. You
yes,
know, like,
yes.
and I'm happy that they have that confidence because man, a lot of people are not cool with
I
traveling
guess
for a lot
that
of
does
different
the same.
reasons.
The same thing happened with me. I traveled my whole childhood. I've always traveled. My dad, same thing. He traveled for work. He took me, but we also traveled a lot, like personally for fun, vacations and stuff. And it makes me the spoiled little traveling brat that I am, because I have been all over the place, and I appreciate that and love that, and it's one of my favorite things to do. So, yeah, it's good. And I, when I lived in Belize, I did that by myself. I bought a plane ticket to Mexico City, and I took a city bus all the way down the coast of Mexico into Belize. I rented a house off Caribbean Craigslist and lived there. I was just like, this is what I'm gonna do for a bit because I thought it was random and why not? And I did it by myself, and I thought it was gorgeous and fun and a great experience. So, traveling alone is funny though because you don't have anyone to like make fun of anything else with. Like, you know what I mean?
You gotta
have
make
no
a friend.
one to
You
like.
gotta make a friend quick when you
Yeah.
land. You're like, who's gonna be my
Right,
buddy?
Exactly. Like, who can I people watch with and then like joke about things with? There's no one to like laugh with, but it's still great.
Yeah. All right. To wrap up the interview here, I know you got to get back to work.
Sure.
And I'm sure she's giving me the look like, okay, you're coming up on time. Yeah.
Let's do it.
What's a piece of advice you'd give for someone that wants to get into the sales game? Someone that wants to get into, like, say, where you are now. Like, what are the kind of steps you would have to take?
Well, I guess just kind of what I did. You go and apply for something that interests you. Inside sales is generally a good way to start because you kind of get your feet wet in the sales game, and also you meet your customer base, and you generally have a lot of support because you're in the office. Outside sales takes some time
Yeah, a
because
little bit
it
more
needs-
finesse.
Yeah, and you also have to be like confident in what you're selling because you're not with anybody. Like, I don't work with a boss isn't sitting with me every day to help me. So inside sales is a great way to start. And then I, found a product that I loved. Like, I was selling Hypertherm stuff. Like I said earlier, I knew it was solid. I knew the support was there. I knew the product was good. So you're not selling just something
Just to sell.
Yeah, like you want to sell something that you like can trust is good. Like for me, it was about, I know this product is good, so like I'm not going to go out there and push someone to buy some from me. So
Awesome.
So
So believe in what you're selling.
100%. And inside sales is a good way to start because you have more support.
Right.
And then you grow into going outside. If you like to travel, outside sales is awesome.
And maybe
because
you're not going to go there. Maybe you'll be happy
totally.
inside.
Sales, and people love that. Like I work at the same counter people at certain locations forever, and we all love them for that because they know what they're doing.
They got it on lockdown.
100%. So that's a great way to get in there.
Awesome, Kelsey. Well, this has been fantastic.
Thank you.
Is there any shout outs you want to send to anybody?
Not that I can think of right now, but thank you very much for having me and for setting this up. So thank you so much.
Awesome. And for all the people that have been listening, thank you. The podcast's still rocking and rolling. We got lots of stuff coming out of Fabtech here, CanWeld. We're going to be doing this, 2 more times, 3, 4 more times.
Ooh.
So we got lots going on. We did the floor walk show. We got the big gala tonight. We got lots of awesome
the gala,
stuff. Yeah, we have a gala, industry
Did you get
awards.
your dress ready?
Yeah,
Everyone's
I
all
got my
fancy.
suit jacket and stuff.
Love
Yeah.
it. Cool.
So that's going to be fun.
Awesome.
And hopefully we can see people face to face at conferences and keep listening to the podcast. Thank you very much. The CWB Association would love to thank all the sponsors that helped make CanWeld 2022 a great success. We'd like to specially thank Ergo Mig for being one of our main sponsors and participating with us at this year's conference in Toronto.
We hope you enjoyed the show.